Hey guys, welcome to Monday Morning Man. I wanted to take a few seconds today and talk about mindset. There's a book by Bruce Larson called Faith and the Journey. I can't remember exactly what it was, but I do remember the story. There's a story in there where there's a company and they make drill bits, and they're pretty successful and relatively a wealthy company. But the man who started the company is now taking it and he's passing it down to his son. And so the first board meeting, his son comes in and he sits down with the 4 vice presidents and he says, looking over our business and looking at the next few years, I want to know what your goals are. And so each one of the vice presidents began to talk about new technology for drill bits and different sizes and all these different things. And the kid stopped them and he said, I want to tell you something. We're no longer in the business of drill bits. We're no longer in the business of making drill bits. And the 4 vice presidents were all kind of caught off guard. They're like, okay, this doesn't sound good. Here's this young kid coming in, changing everything. But then he quickly pivoted and he said, we are now in the business of making holes. And he said, people don't want to buy a drill bit. They want to make a hole. So he said, I want us to start thinking now, changing our mindset, how we're going to make holes and not just drill bits. And over the next few months, just with that simple shift in what they were thinking, it caused an incredible amount of new vision, creativity, and a massive attitude change amongst the whole company that catapulted them even above and beyond any other competition that they were facing. And you know what? A lot of times I think we run into a problem and we have one perspective and we're always looking at it from this perspective. We see the problem, we see the problem, we see the problem, we see the problem. We're always looking at it right here. But what happens if we look at it from this side? What happens if we go, I don't want to look at the problem, I want to look at the solution. So here are 3 things I want to challenge you with. Number 1, regardless of what area you are working within your life, whether it's financial, physical, relational, you need to have 3 things that you understand. Number 1, creativity is your secret weapon. When you think of a problem, you need to not think so much of the answer as much as try to think of it creatively, because therein lies the answer. We always tend to think about things from one perspective, like I was saying, when we need to think about it from many different perspectives. Ask people outside of your field of influence or your field of business or your field of relationships about how to solve that problem. You'll be surprised with some of the things they come up with because they see it from a different perspective. Number 2, you need to switch your mindset on how you think about problems by asking questions. Don't necessarily ask questions seeking the answer. Ask questions because they bring up other good questions. There's an old quote I love. It says, there's nothing that ruins a good question like an answer. So just simply write down questions. You'll be surprised that the more questions you come up with regarding a problem, the more insight you'll have regarding that problem. Finally, and number 3, you need to give yourself time to think. And by that, I mean give yourself time to not think about that problem. And as you don't think about that problem, you'll be amazed at how many times your subconscious mind will produce an answer. I know this sounds like a lot of mumbo jumbo and maybe new age stuff, but it's really the way our brain works. We've all done this. We've all said, it's that one guy, the name can't come to me. And then we'll say something like this. Well, it'll come to me as soon as I'm driving away or walking away. It's because you're not thinking about it. Many times when we force ourselves to try to think, it shuts down our subconscious from releasing the answer. A lot of times we have issues and problems in our life and we're seeking an answer. We think so hard about it that we don't give our brain time to pause and to have all of the things we've been thinking about come together to one synthesized answer that we may not be seeing. So the reason why I'm sharing this today is because we're looking at going into a new year here in about a month. And many of us we're goal setters and we gear up for the new year. We like new beginnings, and that's awesome. But I want to challenge you to use what we've talked about today and looking at the future from a different perspective. Looking at this next year, 2019, not with how you're going to solve problems, but how you're going to ask questions, how you're going to look at solutions from a different perspective. What's going to make this next year different is how you change your frame of mind and the attitude in which you take at looking at it. So we'll see you Wednesday for our rant. Hang in there. Thanks for checking out the davidalliance.com, for subscribing to our YouTube channel, and for passing on all of our stuff to those other men out there who need it. We'll see you soon.